All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of Talking Tech with Peck ACM. Talking Tech with Peck ACM is a podcast series where we bring upon speakers from everywhere who talk about various things they've done in their respective fields and encourage us to develop, to foster our skills, and to improve ourselves. So, in this second podcast, we have with us a really, really good friend of mine, Ujjwal Kumar. Now, let me introduce him to everyone. Ujjwal Kumar is a fourth year CSC undergraduate at Sir M. Vishweshwarya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru, Karnataka. In one sentence, Ujjwal is a security researcher, community developer, entrepreneur, mentor, innovator, and engineer with an agenda of learning something new every day. Now, that is a lot to get started with. So, Ujjwal is the founder of Cherry Tray Technologies, which is essentially a B2B services and B2C product development company. Chili Tray is also hiring individuals as well in various roles right now. Ujjwal is a lead at Glug MVIT, something which we'll talk about in this podcast, along with being a Microsoft Learn student ambassador, a chief placement officer for his college, and a vouched Mozillian, where he is an esteemed contributor to the Mozilla project. Ujjwal is also a mentor at the Atal Innovation Mission. We'll go over this in this podcast as well. And well, Ujjwal is a security researcher and has hunted bugs in various programs like BugCrowd, HackerOne, NCIRPC, which is the National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, Open Bug Bounty, and various private programs. He has held many private security contracts for tens of startups across the world and has secured 100 plus platforms directly and indirectly by means of responsible disclosure programs and one bounty. On a co-curricular front, Ujjwal is fond of parliamentary debates, having participated and qualified in over six plus international parliamentary debates, and also individual winner and shortlist for various state level debate tournaments. Ujjwal has been running various other communities like Pentesters communities, ATLMV, and so on, and has been an active speaker and organizer in various domains of tech and innovation, impacting over 5,000 plus people directly across multiple institutions. So, without further ado, let's get into your interview, Ujjwal. So, now talking about good profiles, Ujjwal, yours stands out way apart from the crowd. Cybersecurity plus entrepreneurship plus community leadership. It just prompts this question: when and how did Ujjwal Kumar start all of this?
Yeah. Okay. So first off, Nishant, thanks for such a warm introduction. I mean, that was, I can't call it brief, right? Uh, okay. So, right. So starting it off, I don't know, like I had always believed in, doing things differently than how it could be done conventionally, right? Like I always, since the very beginning, I have been believing in the fact that if something can be done in this way, it could also be done in some other way. And I had always been thinking, what if? I knew a lot of times this approach of mine has always given me setbacks. I've always tried doing new things in a different way, and that was worse than what people did it conventionally. Yet I had that satisfaction that, okay, I have done something which is, pretty different than how it could have been conventionally. So the very the feel or the kick of doing things differently is something which helped me get in. And also I've always been very keen on being part of a lot of different things. So I've always realized that doing things differently and being part of everything, basically wherever I got an opportunity, I just got in. I never questioned that, okay, will I be able to manage this with that or not? Will I be able to manage this with that or not? I had always been keen on, doing something for the community or the people who are associated with me, and myself, learn something out of it, because the moment I do something, I will of course learn something out of it. So maybe since the school days, I used to have really good friends. So uh, we used to try out different things, and then I joined college, and then I used to be part of various different clubs, and everything I did, I thought of different ways to do the same thing. And maybe I am a consequence of my work is consequence of all the opportunities we have faced, or all the opportunities which have come in my way, have tried to do it in a different way and be part of everything. That's how I have been doing things.
That is pretty
It's
good. That is pretty inspiring. So your
Yeah,
message would be like, just go in for it. Don't think about how this would work out or how would I solve it. Is that what you're pointing at as well?
exactly, totally. Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So why cybersecurity? What is it about cyber that got you into so much? Like you are great at cybersecurity. You're personally you are my mentor, like in this field. How did you get into cyber?
Okay. So thanks for perceiving me in this way, Nishant. Of course, like I believe everyone who's learning is really great at cybersecurity. I think this was a accident by which I got into security. I never, it was not like when I was in 11th standard or when I was in 10th, I never believed that I need to be in cybersecurity or something. I was just doing things, whatever was coming in my way, I was just doing it. Then I joined engineering, and first year I didn't do anything much. Like I was just roaming around and just a very good friend of mine. He's brilliant, Ravi. So he started cybersecurity and he started learning things, and he was like, "Bro, here is this course. Will you do it with me?" I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So I did that course, and then I found this is pretty good. This is really powerful. I didn't have that thought like ethical, unethical, and stuff. I was like, "Oh, this gives me so much of power." So the very feel of being powerful in the tech community was something which drove me towards that. But then one thing I would like to point out at that being into cybersecurity requires immense amount of dedication. I've seen 200 plus people who have entered security and then left it in a couple of months or 1 or 2 months. So the passion is something which keeps you going, and I think I just started loving things in security. I used to try different things, and if something worked out, that joy which I felt, that was something which helped me sustain my interest in security, and that's how I kept on going, and I am still going.
That is great. That is great. So hackers are basically curious people who just want to see the world as how it is. All right.
Absolutely,
That
yes.
that's amazing,
To
man.
see
And
what's actually happening. Yeah.
amazing.
Mhm.
So, well, along with that, like, why did you focus on community growth and, well, the whole of the pen testers community, which is like a community on Telegram right now, which is quite an important community because I am there and I learned a lot from there. So, why pen testers community? What did you feel, and when did you start this?
Okay, great. First off, Nishant, I'm really thankful to you that you are part of Pentester community as well. Like to everyone who's listening to this, you should see the kind of posts Nishant has been putting up, which has been really helping people. Okay, so starting with community again, this has a lot of plots and twists. Not like I just made a community or went like became part of community and then left it. I have always been a person who like I essentially love to interact with people over anything. Like if I do something, I make sure that I tell 10 different people out of it that I'm doing this, and you should also think of something similar to this, right? So yeah, if you all like whoever has been listening to this, if you are part of college life or something, you would have a feeling that we should not tell anything to people, because if they get to know, even they'll start to do it, right? But the very fact that I started to tell people that they should start doing it, and while we discuss it with people, that also gives rise to new ideas. And I was very lucky to get really good mentors in my college days. In the beginning, I got a few seniors like Vipul, Abhijit, so they helped me like anything. And from them I realized how important communities are. It's not just you are helping anyone, indirectly it helps you grow. I'll be explaining more about this in the flow, I believe. But one thing is, to everyone who feels that being a part of community or organizing events, or doing something for the community, being part of workshops, if you feel that it's waste of time, you're not going to get anything out of it, others are going to, remember that you are the one who's going to get the maximum out of it, in terms of network, in terms of learning, in terms of management. There's a lot of experience which is unsaid, but that comes up. So that's one thing which I realized after being a part of community. But answering Nishant's question, sorry if I'm taking it too long. So yeah, yeah, answering your question, I think I got into communities accidentally. I started to be part of different clubs. I was interacting with people. I was speaking, and I didn't get to know when I became part of so many communities, Nishant. Yeah,
All right. So that is pretty great. I mean, this point of community is
yeah,
really great. So that is the reason I felt to start other communities and to be a part of communities like ACM in my college as
great,
well, by deriving inspiration from Pentesters community and the Microsoft student partner community. So that is really great, man. So, well, now
yeah.
going along with the whole community thing, tell us something about Glug MVIT and the activities it does, and what are you planning in the future for it? So this is something interesting,
Okay.
guys. I've seen some things related to Glug MVIT. I'd like Ujjwal to share what he knows about, what he'd like to share about Glug MVIT.
Great, great. Okay, so the essential idea about Glug is, an open source community like GNU Linux open source community. So Glug is basically that idea. So basically, we believe, like, essentially the idea of Glug is to, contribute in open source and help and develop everyone. Like, see if there were not, like, if you essentially believe, this is a bit out of context, but if you see how important open source is, just remember, if there was no GitHub, there was no Stack Overflow, there was no such open source communities, code borrowing would have been absolutely impossible, and 99% of developers wouldn't have been developers. I think they would be storytellers or something. Not like that's bad, I love storytelling, but open source is something which gives you a lot. So a lot of people, even now I realize, while even trying to do recruitment or stuff, that a lot of people don't even know how to do a get commit or create a pull request and stuff. So the very idea of Glug MVIT is to spread the idea of open source community, take tech to next level, and increase the number of people who are working on tech, for the people to understand the essence of tech contribution and the essence of open source. So we at Glug MVIT, we have been doing a lot of events and stuff, so that people get initiated with tech. The ones who are already initiated, they go to a different level, they learn more and more by sharing ideas, and ideas grow by sharing itself. So the essential idea of Glug is that. And the future plans of Glug, we have been planning to host Glug Winter of Code very soon, probably November and December, or earlier to that. We'll soon make the idea of that public. So something similar to different summer of codes and stuff. So even we'll have our own summer of code and winter of code, so that a lot of different people can contribute to these open source project. They can learn something out of open source project, and that can maybe take their career trajectory to next level. Because I myself have seen, if I hadn't got those opportunities, or if I hadn't been part of Glug essentially since the first year, I wouldn't have been able to learn as much as I could. And there's always a lot for me to learn. So these opportunities are also for me to learn, and via a medium for others to learn and get initiated. You never know if couple of years later down the line, someone watching this, maybe from first year, second year, or somewhere, being part of such initiatives, could be speaking here. Yeah.
That would be great. That is the whole aim
Yeah.
of it. So I guess
Yeah.
maybe in Glug Winter of Code there'll be a lot of people coming in from PEC as well. So there'll be like a lot of people from our
Hopefully.
college coming in. That is a really great thing, and I'm waiting for
Amazing.
the promotions of that. So now moving on to the
Amazing.
next thing, which is quite a big thing. Like, what is the
Yeah.
Atal Innovation Mission, and what has your experience been like it? I'll ask a follow-up question later on, but just before this, what is the Atal Innovation Mission, and what's your experience been with it?
Okay. Okay, great. So this is something, this is something which I feel, why hadn't I been part of this much earlier or before this, right? So Atal Innovation Mission is an important milestone for me personally, because I am being able to bring that change at very, very essential levels. As in, when I was in school days, if anyone would have just helped me just get initiated. I understand in the syllabus you have HTML and all these things, right? But students don't understand that, it's just by heart. So in my school days nobody spoke about that level of innovation or that level of development. Like I had to start learning development and stuff in first or second year of my engineering, which was quite late. So I realized, what if these things could be started at school level? What if I myself could do time travel and help myself to learn something in my school days? So yeah, so Atal Innovation Mission is basically an initiative by Niti Aayog, a central government agency. Planning Commission was before. So they are like, in Atal Innovation Mission, we mentor schools and startups. So I have been mentoring couple of schools across different states. So every Saturday or something, I give a talk. Then I closely, track their activities. And now even we are planning to teach web development to students of class 5th to 10th. I mean, maybe by the end of this year, everyone would have their own personal websites. So again, thanks to open source. So
That's
that's the
amazing.
essential idea, for free of cost. Yeah, I think
That's
recently a
important.
couple of, yeah, yeah. So I just wish I would have been at that place. Yes, Nishant, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that is quite a really good thing, this subtle innovation mission. So, like,
Hmm.
what work have you done in this mission till now? Like, what has been your path you followed in this, and later on, how would you perhaps guide people for the same? Like, this personally seems a lot. This resonates with me a lot. So, how would you guide a lot of people about how to join this?
Okay, so great. Basically, Atal Innovation Mission has different tiers. One is for startups, budding startups, to help them innovate, to help them get mentors, experienced folks. And also, one is for putting up innovation in the minds of school students so that they can think different from the convention. The very idea which I mentioned in the first question, right? So, Atal Innovation Mission, you could be a part of it. Like I myself find very lucky that I was selected, because very few students have gotten selected. And essentially a lot of hi-fi entrepreneurs and people who are in edutech industry are mentors in this. And we directly shape the lives of these school students. Like I have been working with hundreds of students across various rural parts of Karnataka and Bihar, and now I'm planning to take up any school from Madhya Pradesh or maybe Tamil Nadu. So I have always been very keen on bringing that revolution in fields of education. That's why even a lot of products developed by my own startup, or which I've been developing, is related to edutech. So Atal Innovation Mission is something I think you can apply for a ATL mentor. Atal, that's called as Mentor of Change, MOC. And I think you could be part of it in everyone who's hearing to this. You need to apply, and they would typically select in a couple of months and get back to you.
All right, we'll put this in the
Yeah,
description later on, guys, so that you can also apply and
sure.
see what it is. All right, that's great, man. So this is something like I'll definitely try applying for this, and I guess a lot of people will. So again, continuing with community usual. So there was something special in your profile, and while I was preparing for this, I was like, what is this particular thing? I never heard of this. What is a Mozillion? Like, what is that? How?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so basically, if you see, almost all the hi-fi big players have their own communities, right? So Microsoft has Microsoft Student Learn Ambassadors now, and something like this. So Mozilla is a very transparent organization, with their open agenda related to privacy, related to development, and a lot of things, right? I think right now I'm connected to this chat via Mozilla Firefox. So everything is open sourced. So Mozilla has its own community, and everyone who's part of the community is a Mozillian. So to join Mozilla community, you need to be vouched by a Mozillian who's a member before. So first you do some sort of contribution to the idea of open source, and if any Mozillian is convinced by that, they will give you a vouch, and then you become a Mozillian. And that's how the chain grows. There's no other way to join it. There's no application. So if you align if your idea is aligned with the open source idea of Mozilla, with the growth of global community, that's how you could become a Mozillian. And really, it's fun, you being part of developing something which will be used by millions of people across the globe. What could be the joy of contributing to such projects? Like nothing more could be more than that.
That's amazing. So, um, So, just for our audience who are interested in this, what kind of things
Yeah.
should one focus on to get into something like this Mozilla open source community? Like, what kind of, are there any
Okay.
frameworks or are there any particular languages they need to focus on?
No. So I think the first ever prerequisite for any community is enthusiasm, 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 right? Typical filmy style. So yeah. So you need to be very enthusiastic and you need to be, you need to have that idea of open source contribution. You don't need to have it like, I'm going to develop something, I'm going to keep this private, I won't tell about this to anyone. The very idea is while you do something, you tell it to 10 different people that I'm doing this and you should also be doing this, and you tell it to everyone so that everyone grows together, right? So if you would have heard this popular saying called as sabka saath sabka vikas. So I think that's the idea of communities, and to be part of such communities you need to learn, you need to have a good idea of how any sort of development, even if you're not into development, you're still very keen about tech, just learn about some tech, just learn. You could do any sort of contribution, just pick any Mozilla profile or any Mozilla repository. If there are any open issues, just solve it, and then you can reach someone, whoever is maintaining it, and you could tell them, look, I'm very keen on contributing, can you vouch me as a Mozillian? And you become Mozillian. There are different layers as well. You could become a Mozilla speaker, you could become a Mozilla rep, which is a representative, and so on. That's amazing, really beautiful community.
That's pretty good. I guess a lot of people
Yeah.
in watching this could be interested in this later on. So, is this along
Yes.
similar lines to programs for example, Google Summer of Code or the upcoming Hacktoberfest or programs like Outreachy? So, is it like a similar approach that people should follow with that towards open source?
No, it's not a program, I would like to say. It's just an initiative. So these programs are, having some time frame and it has a framework. But the very idea of open source is it's very open. There's no limit, there's no boundary. So even now, maybe after this talk, anyone could go and contribute to any open source project. So that contribution is something which matters. It does not matter. Pick any random Mozilla repository which is open sourced, just start contributing there, and you are part of the community. It's as simple as that. All you need is the will to help and the enthusiasm. Yes, Nishant.
That's great, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm currently imagining you coming on another session and telling us specifically about open source, getting into it. How do you go about open source as a whole? So that would be great again, man. So now moving on to
We
the
can
next
have
question.
it someday. Yeah.
That we
Yeah.
can definitely have. So now moving on to the next question as well. So
Mhm.
I'd like to you to tell what these couple of words mean to you. I'll say a few words and you just tell me what these mean to you personally, like as in a
Yeah.
phrase or in any way you want. So just tell me what
Mhm.
these mean to you. So the first word would be hacker. What does this word mean to you?
Okay.
That's great.
So, okay. So hacker is something, the world has been taking hackers as negative perception, right? While a lot of, like, I personally strongly believe in the word karma or the action of karma, right? Or even if we don't believe it, a lot of people are driven by the very, will of doing something good, doing something better before someone else doing bad. So if you know that someone is going to do something bad, you would go before them and you would prevent that, right? That's your basic perception. So I would, even though that's not the exact question, but I would like to clear this perception to people that hackers are not always seen in negative limelight, and that's nothing negative. Hacking can be done for both good and bad. So when I hear hacking, that's something like, I see that word as a savior if I'm just exaggerating it. But a lot of things are digital now, especially after the pandemic, everything is digital. So hackers could be someone who know how to break things, right? And you break it before bad guys break it, and then you help someone fix it so that bad guys are not able to break it. So those bad guys are hackers, even we are hackers. I mean, or anyone who's doing something, I think that's called as hacking. So this is a very open and vague word. Anyway, moving on.
That's great. So hacking is not just
Yeah.
sitting on opening some Linux terminal and typing some commands. Hacker is more than that.
Exactly. I had friends who used to just in my school days they used to open command prompt, they used to do something, and then we used to the PC used to switch off in 10 minutes, and they used to be like hacker, hacker.
That hacker
So
man meme. That's
yeah,
that's good. So another word that I'd like you to tell us about. So this is the second one.
yeah.
Innovator. What does this mean to you?
Sorry, I didn't
I-
get that. Yeah.
Innovator. What the word innovator means to you?
Innovator. Right, right. So this is at this point it's the most important word to me. If our planet needs something, apart from humanity, of course, that's innovation. Like innovation has been something which has been driving humanity since here. If there was a pandemic 100 years back, we wouldn't have this podcast. But some people dared to innovate because of which we are having this podcast and a lot more things, right? This wireless and everything, right? So innovation is something either you innovate and survive, and if you fail to innovate, you're going to die. I mean, this has happened to a lot of multinationals, everyone. Like, you need innovation in every point of your life. I don't know if you call it any word, you call it jugad, you need innovation, whatever you call, but that's something which is basic essence of development. There's no society without innovation. Innovation is at the key point of fundamental, aspect of society and any growth.
Those are really really great words, man.
Yeah.
So the third word would that I'd like you to talk about is entrepreneur. What does this word mean to you? There are a lot of people here who are watching this, who'll be watching this, who want to get into something like this. So what does the word entrepreneur mean to
Right.
you?
Okay. So entrepreneurship is very important word, right? Like a lot of entrepreneurship is something which I think everyone has wanted to perceive at some point of time or another. And if you haven't, then you will perceive it at some point of time or another. But it has been projected in a very tough way, but trust me, it's way more tougher than that. But one thing is, it's definitely worth doing it. If yeah, if anyone is listening this and you have any idea, and there's any way, I can't give you false hopes that you just try it out. Like, if there's any way to sustain it financially, if there's any way that it has some financial variables or some variables which could benefit the society, then I think it's worth giving a try. If you have an idea, just approach someone, or don't approach, learn something and just get to it, but definitely give a try. Do it. Entrepreneurship is something which changes the world. Again, bringing the same reference from last time and wasting one extra minute of your time. So if there was no entrepreneurship, we wouldn't have had Google Meet, or maybe the laptop in front of which I'm sitting. Someone dared to come up, start a company. Like, there are some people who are doing innovation, who are doing some research, but who is the one who's bringing it to market, who's bringing it to the public after shaping it in your way? That's entrepreneurs, right? So you take this idea, you shape it, and then you make it feasible to the community. I mean, nobody would understand what code is behind it, but an entrepreneur, he makes it you know he makes it very interactive. You don't need to have any prerequisites to use it. That's the role of an entrepreneur. He's the presentation guy, basically.
The
Yeah.
face of the company, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great, man. So now the final word of this small segment of asking you one word question. So the last one would be community, like Glug MVID, pen testers, Microsoft Learns to Investors. What does community mean to you?
Again, community is love. I mean, yeah, community has given more to me than I can ever give back to the community. I mean, everything I have at this point of time, I mean, anything I've learned, credit goes to community. And everyone needs to be part of community and grow community at any scale, at any. It's not like only if you know some language of programming, you can be part of community. No, that's a wrong perception. You just need to have will to be part of community, and trust me, community is going to change your life. Either you choose to sleep in your hostel room, or you choose to be part of community or attend an event and then learn something out of the event. A lot of times what happens is we attend some event and we don't understand anything, and we are like, oh, this guy is very high level guy, I'm not able to understand anything. But the very fact that you should be attending these meetups because you're not able to understand it. So while more and more you attend, you will be able to understand it someday, and then you will be speaking there and someone will be telling the same thing, and then make sure that you tell the same thing to them. I think I mean made it confusing.
You I
But
guess
yeah.
you made it very clear at this point. It is really, really clear.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is
Okay.
really great.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
it's
Thanks.
like
Mhm.
you won't be able to grow where you already know everything. If you go somewhere where you know nothing about,
Yes.
only then can you focus on growing yourself more, right?
Yes. Okay. So I think, can I add one more line to this, Nishant? Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for the idea. So basically, the very fact that one person alone cannot know everything, this is for sure. Irrespective of which level of achiever you are, you cannot know everything, and you cannot barter your time to learn everything. This is why your community comes in picture. While you have a problem, to solve that, I'm pretty sure just one knowing one thing won't help you out. You need a lot of different things to solve that problem. That's where the idea of community comes in. I know this, I will do this, you know this, please help me out, you do this, and then the whole community together develops something which helps someone else, which makes someone else's lives easier. That's the very essence of community.
That that is an actual aim to follow, an actual driving force behind the whole concept of community, right? That is really great, man.
Right.
So
Yeah.
thank you for that, man. So now I'd like to move on to a really important thing. Like all of these are important, but something that I also want to focus on. So I
Right.
feel it's necessary to hear it from the real guru in this field, whom I consider a real great person in this field. Like,
Thanks.
how does one get started in cybersecurity? This is a question that I guess a lot of people later on will also see this. How do you just even start in cybersecurity? My start was also
Okay,
pretty
so
vague.
let
I
me,
started
yeah.
based on what you told me. I texted you up. I remember that whole scenario. Like, how do you get started in this field? Go on.
Right. Okay. So, cybersecurity is very, very interesting field and really has lesser number of professionals than it actually requires. And that's why you're hearing about cyber breaches and everything every single day. So to get in cybersecurity, I think okay, again, some community comes into picture, because security is one thing which I can tell you that not everything which you want to learn is in part of some course or something. And this was a major agenda. Like if you want to learn Python or machine learning or something, you can go up, you can find some course, you can learn it out, and you can practice it. But security is very contrasting, and a lot of times the nature of the thing which you learn from it is not available everywhere, and it's broken in bits and pieces. So again, you can either approach someone who knows security, you can join some community where you can, irrespective of these, even if you still want to learn security, right? You need to pick first what do you want to learn. You need to learn, like, in a very, very micro scale. You need to learn there is web application security, mobile application security, within which there's Android, iOS, and then there's IoT penetration testing. We call this as penetration testing security, right? So then there's cloud security, I mean cloud pen testing, and SDR, and huge aspects of it. So you need to select any one. Like I had chosen web in my case, and then within web there are, you can just search for OWASP. It's again an open community. So just within each of these there are a lot of different types of security vulnerability which may happen. Sometimes you see someone's data gets stolen, sometimes someone's website gets defaced, right? So all these are different vulnerabilities is basically the weaknesses, right? So everyone and everything possesses some weakness, and what these hackers do is they just exploit the weakness or find out that weakness, how to exploit that, right? So you just need to be very good at googling things and read everything from everywhere, right? Just read it. So you can okay, so I think you can join pentesters community. I can share materials there as well. Irrespective, you can just Google OWASP top web vulnerabilities if you want to learn web. Just you'll get names. No, pick any one name. Just Google it. Watch all YouTube videos. Look at all GitHub links. Just read. In Medium write-ups or some blogs would come up. Just read. In YouTube, try to see how that happens. The most challenging aspect of security is this is not conventional, like coding or something. Like in coding, it's certain that if I write print and then I write my name, print. PACACM is a very good community, right? It will definitely be printed if there's no syntax error. But security is not that way. Maybe Nishant has done an audit, he found a vulnerability by doing something. Maybe you might do that and you might not get. There might be 1,000 different things which you might try and you fail. But there might be one thing which you tried and you passed, but nobody else did. So security requires a lot of passion, perseverance, and a lot of patience. And I think this alone would require a special talk. But yes, be very good at art of googling, find the smallest aspect of something, google, learn that, practice it in some practice machines or something. You can again find out in some communities, or you can again google that out as well, and slowly learn one trick. Then there are a lot of bug bounty websites, or a lot of websites where you can try, just try it out over there, and then again go back, learn one more thing, and then try these two things on those different platforms. Again come back, learn one more thing, try these three things on those different platforms, read, and your knowledge keeps growing. But this one field is something where you will be learning throughout your life. There's no time that you can feel that I know everything. Someone new entered, he found something new vulnerability which nobody else did, so you're learning from him. So it's not like someone knows a lot and someone does not. It's just that you need to have love for that particular field, and you need to learn from everyone, keeping all the ego aside.
That is really important. I really feel we just need to call you again and again for various things, community, cybersec. We really need to call you again for this one.
I would be happy to answer anything. Yeah.
That's amazing. So based on this description you gave, what do you think? Like, what are some pieces of advice you'd like to give for people already in this field, or more on what do you think about the future of this domain? Like, what are the opportunities in this if someone gets into this, and
Okay.
what advice would you give to someone who is already into this?
Yeah. Okay. So this is somewhere I need to take a jibe at the bubble which has been created. I don't know how much inflated it is, but cybersecurity has infinite potential at this point of time. The number of opportunities is way more higher than the number of professionals. And it has, at this point, I believe it has infinite intake, right? To a lot of students who get deceived while they join college, they don't do web development, they don't do any software development, they don't do anything. They just jump on the ML bubble, machine learning. Like, he does not know maths, but they want to do machine learning on the very first instance. We need to understand that everything has a time and everything has a step by step approach, right? And there's already a lot of competition in those peers. And though those peers are very specific to research and have a lot of scope, yet there's a lot of even people who are in machine learning, there's a lot of opportunity in that intersection of machine learning and cyber security. I think if you're planning for an entrepreneurship, you can definitely give a try in this sphere, because most companies which I've seen which have started in this sphere have become successful. With the right approach, the chances of success are very higher in this particular intersection than anywhere else. Cybersecurity is something which, I see in colleges as well. Not many people are interested. People only get interested if they are forcefully put into that domain because they are not able to get job elsewhere. But security is something which requires a lot of courage and a lot of brain power. You might be sitting for 12 hours straight trying to hack into something and you're not getting into it. And it breaks your heart like anything. I have been heartbroken a lot of times and left it. And I was like, from today, I'm not going to do any security. And then 2 days later, I was again back to my computer on Bobsuit to again start to crack some website or some vulnerabilities. So, yeah,
So that
love
is
it and get to
basically
it.
have passion for this.
Yeah.
Don't give up in this field.
Yes,
If your aim is to
exactly.
just secure a job in security, that won't be that good of an aim. If your aim is to learn everything in this field, like that would be great, है ना? If you think about it.
Yes, totally, totally. And if you know something, right, let me tell you this one thing from a interviewer's point of view, right? I've interviewed quite a lot of times and I've spoken to a lot of interviewers. Students often feel that it's a dream for us to get into a good company, but trust me, the company needs qualified candidates more than you need the company. They are dying to get the right employees, the right interns. So if you have knowledge, there's no way that anyone can deny you opportunity. Maybe by luck or something you might be denied once, twice or something, but if you have that required knowledge, right, that company will come searching for you 101%, irrespective of opportunities and pandemic or whatever. So
That is pretty great. I mean, that has a lot. This particular statement has a lot of weightage for a lot of people who will go on to
yeah.
pursue similar things. So that is a really important piece of
Mhm.
advice. So again,
Yeah.
now a lot of people know security only from the concept of bug bounties. So and some don't really know about it, but most people get into security because of bug bounties. So what is some advice you'd give about bug bounties, or what is it about and how to start it?
Great. Okay. So to start, okay, I generally don't start with negative things, but bug bounties are tough, right? They are really tough, and they do have high pay if you have that right amount of patience and perseverance. I've seen people getting $10,000 for one vulnerability, tens of $1,000, $25,000. I think people have got as high as $100,000 as well if you crack some vulnerability in Apple, right? If some P1, P2, or P3 level vulnerability. So this is something which has a very high pay, a lot of opportunities, and if you're very independent minded person, like you don't want to be controlled by leash of something, you want to be an independent researcher, then bug bounty is something which could also be very powerful to you. But it takes a lot of time getting very good at security and trying to crack websites which are already secured by someone else, and competing against others who are trying to break the same things requires a lot of patience and perseverance, at least for 1 year. If you just focus on your skill, maybe if you can start earning thousands of dollars every month. I have known people who have been from rags to riches, who have been earning thousands of dollars every single month at this point of time, and now they don't even look for job. They are like, I'm going to be at home 10 days, I'm going to do security, and then 20 days I'll enjoy. However, what happens is a lot of times even such experienced people don't get bugs for 5 days continuously, and that's very demoralizing. You start to feel, where am I going in my life? But yeah, if you're independent, you can get into bug bounty. It's amazing. And to get started with bug bounty, again, learn the security aspects, learn how to find vulnerabilities and how to exploit them. Once you know these, sign up to any of the bug bounty platforms. You can Google, there are thousands of them. And there is some in scope uh, assets. So open those websites, find the vulnerability, don't exploit it completely, just write the scope of exploitation, write it to them, write via mail or submit a report. Maybe in 2 to 3 days they'll get back to you, they'll find it, they'll fix it, and they'll also give you a reward. But this is a huge boon to companies, something like bug bounty. You pay some tens of thousands of dollars and you save hundreds of thousands of dollars which would have been lost if that would have been breached. So win-win for
That is
everyone.
pretty great. That is
Yeah.
some really important pieces of advice. So, well, Ujjwal, I feel that somewhere when we talk about bug bounty, when you say thousands of dollars, a lot of people find this really lucrative, right? So, I'd like to
Totally.
along with this, just put in some kind of reason so that again, it does not create that bubble that you go into security, you go into bug bounty, and then you're really rich or something. So, try putting
Yes.
in this.
Okay, so telling this to the world from another person who was lucrated, like I myself was lucrated, I left all coding and everything. I'm like, I'll do bug bounty now. And I joined, I reported like 6 to 8 bugs in one day. It was very, very minor level bugs, right? And I expected it to be very high level because I didn't know things back then. So now I went and I told to people up Dekho, like, now, look at it. Now I'm going to get thousands of dollars. You just wait and watch. People have got it. And then all my reports were like either marked as not applicable, somewhere marked as duplicate, because these are very easy bugs which someone else would have reported before you. And everything was duplicate, 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 duplicate. And for next 3 to 4 days, I was feeling, what am I doing in my life? So it took me, at least 1 year to start to get bounties. Yeah, I used to try to get into small programs. I used to get a lot of letters and stuff, letter of recommendation, then mention in their magazine, then mention in hall of fame of their website and stuff. So initially, most of you, like, never ever, money should never be your motivation. If you have that required skill, money will definitely follow. I wish I had heard and believed in the same thing when someone else had told the same thing to me. But money is never the motivation. Just learn the skill and try it out everywhere. Money will come on its own. Just stay focused. So, and trust me, not that level of money which you can see. Like to see, you can open someone's feed on HackerOne and you can see, okay, this dude was getting last Friday, he got $1,000. 1 month before, he got $5,000. I used to calculate, okay, this guy has earned like 9 lakh rupees, like 9 lakh Indian rupees in 1 month. And then I never saw that since how much time he has been doing security. He has been doing since 7 years, and for first 2 years he didn't get any bounty. I didn't see that. I was just seeing now how much is he earning. So money is never it. I've seen people who have been doing it since 4 years passionately, bug bounty. They're not doing any job, and they have got like 25, 28 lakhs. So you can get that much elsewhere too. But if you love the concept, right, you will definitely. There's no lack of money. You can do a lot of individual pen testing for companies as well.
All right, that is pretty good. That is pretty
Yeah.
good. I feel again, like again, when we have another session with you related to cybersecurity, then we can focus on more like certifications. How do you approach bug bounty? Where do you start? Or more of the
Right.
details into it. I guess we can do that later on in some future episode.
Yes.
That is pretty great. So again, I hope the next question is not out of place. So this is for a lot of people who are into blogging, who want to get start blogging or want to do write-ups or want to like push out their content, what they're doing, like share things. So you've been into blogging and you've written some blogs. Your blogging site ulogx. So we'll share the link in the description later on. So this has an amazing set of write-ups, and most of them are security related. So we again have
Yeah.
a lot of creative people here. So how would you guide them to start pushing out content or something they're passionate about? How can or where can they share things like these?
Okay. So one, recently we had taken a decision that Ulogix will be open to everyone. It's an open sourced thing on, GitHub repository as well. So I invite everyone to, if you guys want, you can come up and write it on Ulogix. I would be happy to add you guys as authors. And I was also thinking to somehow manage some monetary gains from my company fund as well, so to someone who writes good blogs, and to get how to get started, right? So anyone, absolutely anyone could get started with this. Just pick any one thing randomly. Just okay, just pick something like web scraping, and go learn about it for next 2 days. Once you learn it, since you didn't get good materials, you know what were the issues you faced in learning and which took so much time. Just comprehend that in a smaller set on, and just believe that maybe if you would have been at that point and you would have got this blog, how much easier would have it been for you to learn. Just pen it down, and trust me, this helps like anything. You write a blog, and then hundreds of people approach, see it from different parts of globe just by searching it. So that's one thing. Like everyone should be blogging. You should be writing your experience. You should be writing about tech or whatever you feel like. So I've recently thought to convert Ulogix to a general idea of tech rather than just security. Of course, security is at foremost priority. But anyone who's willing to write any blog, you can learn how to write in Markdown format, and you could write blogs. I think it's a good time. Hacktoberfest is running. You could write a blog and then finish for PR, and you can get your swags as well from Hacktober. So
That's amazing. So
yeah,
ulogx, we will have this in the description later on in the description of this video.
yes,
So now moving on to another vastly interesting aspect of your profile. Like, it's totally interesting, but this is something on the next level.
yeah,
So entrepreneurship. Now, Ujjwal has an excellent startup which, starting from scratch, is now set to reach up a revenue of 1 million rupees. So this is something huge. Now, tell us about it. When and
okay.
now there are a couple of questions that follow this. So the first would be when and why did you start this? Chili
Okay,
tray. Why,
so
when and
this
why?
has just started. Yeah, yeah. So started this just couple of months back. Although I always wanted to do it. Like I remember in my 11th standard or something, I'd watched TVF pictures. I was always passionate before that too, but I didn't have an idea how and where to start. So what happened was there was this pandemic had hit, and I think it was March or something, February or March, yeah. So what happened was I was driving near MG Road in Bangalore. So I saw a lot of shops were closed. I mean, that used to be most happening place, and now it's closed. And I saw that everything needs a digital push now. Like even though things are digitalizing, yet a lot of things are missing. So I think it was midnight, 2 a.m. or something. I was talking to my friend. He's now co-founder. So we thought, why not do something by which we can help medium and small businesses who are badly hit. That was the essential idea. I'll be very honest. We didn't have very hi-fi things, even though we had a lot of ideas to develop products. So we initially started as service. I think we couldn't update a lot of things on our website related to our products. It's just still related to services. So the essential idea was to help different organizations, and we got in touch with a lot of organizations who are in our unorganized sector. We developed a lot of management portals, a lot of ways to digitalize it, lot of different apps, so that they could order things. People could order it from home, thus creating a lot of employment on the way. That's how it started. Later, we saw a huge opportunity or a problem happening in edutech sector, right? A lot of schooling became digitalized, and what happened was people were having classes on Google Meet. They were having, assignments on Google Classroom. Nothing was organized. Everything was broken up. So we planned to make our own LMS. That was our essential product, which had everything in one place: live class, recorded class, everything to digitalize an organization, gamified learning and stuff. So we have a lot of similar products coming in different sectors. So we are also developing a lot of products. Until now, we were working only in B2B segment, but soon we might also make products which is B2C segment. The ultimate goal of our organization remains that we should have enough number of products which should cater to every potential customer in the country or maybe across the globe. But of course that's very high, far fetched. But we should have different set of products where every single individual should be in a position or should be a potential user of some or the other product of the organization. That's the ultimate idea. So that's how it all began.
All right. So
Yeah.
that is quite a good of thing to start with as well. So now
Yeah.
what
Correct.
is like Chili Tray currently doing? Does it have any parts to it? Does it have sub products to it? What is it doing currently like at this moment?
Yes. So yeah. So Chili Tray is currently, of course, apart from serving a lot of different, variety of our customers in service, maybe someone needs some sort of app or some sort of software or some sort of ERP, or they are facing some random problem which has very, very vague solution. We are solving those solutions. And also Chili Tray is developing a lot of different products which could solve real life problems. As I mentioned, right, LMS. And also, as I mentioned, that cybersecurity has a huge problem that there's no proper place like course at one place with everything. So we also have floated an e-learning platform of ours called as Triangle Learn, which we intend to start after the pandemic is over, probably because we are already occupied in other activities. So that's there. And we are developing few B2C products to get people closer and stuff. I think we can make it public soon, after in a couple of months once it's launched. So we are developing a lot of different AI based products, a lot of different you know products which is first in its segment, first in its line, to organize or to make things easier for different unorganized sector, to make things easier for people who are far and so on. So that's the essential idea.
That is a pretty good idea. So are you like so
Yeah,
you want a lot of people to join in with this initiative, do you?
definitely.
All
Yes,
right.
we are always looking for we are hiring. So as of now, we have intern openings in different segment of different segment of development,
All right.
web,
So
mobile, AR, etc. Yeah.
So, how can people contact you if they want to give their resumes for some particular thing?
People could, probably, yeah, you could go to chilitre.com, or you could write a mail at contact@chilitre.com. You could write a mail to contact
All
at the
right,
rate
we will
chilitre.com.
put this in the comment section of this video later on, the first comment of
Great.
this video later on. Okay, so
Yeah.
now again, Ujjwal, so what are some challenges you faced along this way? Now, this is an unconventional path. So, what are some challenges you faced till now? And again, based on
Okay.
that, continuing with that, what is some advice you'd give to budding entrepreneurs? So,
Okay, amazing. So this is something which is, very trivial to answer, because every single time you believe that you have solved all major headaches coming in your way, something new which you had never even imagined comes up in your way. So I think one of the biggest challenge which we started was initially we always believed in having a self-sustained model rather than a funding model. So that's something which I would recommend to others as well, seeing how paper billionaire companies are falling up. If you saw the pandemic based crash and firing. Anyway, so the biggest challenge which we faced initially was related to how to set pricing of our products, or how to arrange some sort of funds for us to develop the product. That's where we started doing service. We used to do service, we used to get some fund, and then we used to put that in our product. And then biggest hassle was pricing, right? So if we price it higher, your client might run away. If you price it lower, you might face a loss or you might be exploited, right? Or that would have been unfair use of the market. So pricing is a huge challenge. But beyond that, I think the biggest challenge which we face is understanding the right time of market. A lot of times you develop products for some time, and while you finish the development cycle, by then the time of that is gone, so you have to reinvent the wheel. So that's a huge what do you call, a huge challenge or a huge loss or a huge missing of opportunity, I call. But this is very very tough. Trust me, it's more tougher than anyone says. You get tons of sleepless nights, your personal life takes a hit, like your savings take a hit, your future takes a hit, there's a lot of uncertainty. But the kick of even getting smallest of the smallest possible thing, that kick is something which keeps you going, and that's insane fun, like working with a lot of different people. So
And in the end, your hard work and perseverance definitely pays off if you really motivated or
yeah, trust me, the biggest, yes, the biggest essence of this is hard work. You need to keep hard working, wake up, keep hard working. I mean, take calls, do some code, and while sleeping you just sometimes sleep on laptop. So you need to keep doing hard work. Hard work is something which you need to fall in love with, correct?
all
Yeah,
right. So that is some really great advice for all the budding
yeah,
entrepreneurs out there. So again, this has been such a great session. Just like to open up a concluding question I have for you. So what are
yeah.
some advices, some pieces of advice that you'd like to give to our audience? And then we'll open this up to the chat on YouTube. Like, what are the final pieces of advice that Ujjwal the Kumar, the hacker, would like to give, or the entrepreneur, the innovator, would like to give to our audience?
Okay. So the one single-handed advice which I want to give you is, nobody can take opportunity away from you, right? If you have to get it, you will get it. Just keep working hard for it. But hard work is something which stands at the core of anything. Like all of us might be having different dreams. Someone wants to become a, artist. Someone wants to become a singer. Someone wants to become an entrepreneur, or someone wants to do some research. The fundamental aspect of this is hard work, right? I don't know whoever says like without hard work, smart work is very important. That's good. You need to work smartly. That's very important. But irrespective of your smart work, if you do fail to work hard, right, then there's no way to go out, especially in the competition like this. This is, I would like to conclude this in brief. Yeah.
That is some really really great piece of advice. So, Ujjwal, now before we conclude, I just like to open this up to the chat on YouTube so that
Yeah.
everyone can ask questions or whatever they feel like. So, let's go over
Sure.
this. And currently, we're just waiting for the chat. So, people do have. I guess there's this question about how can we be a
Yeah.
part of this Atal Innovation Mission. So, you went over that.
Great.
So.
So I think.
Uh,
Hmm.
I just hope if anyone has any question for Ujjwal, you could just write it on the chat. And we're opening this up for the next 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll close it. So if there are any questions, just put it to us.
Yeah. Okay, so to be part of Atal Innovation Mission, I think you can just Google up like how to be mentor of change in Atal Innovation Mission, and you need to apply for an application. If you get selected, you'll get a mail, and then you have to select the schools you have to adopt, and then you have to, start get in touch with their representative, and then you'll know what to do next.
All right. So I'll just put this in a chat so that I think everyone can ask.
Yeah,
Feel free to ask any questions. Okay, so let's just wait for people to ask their questions. Till the time, Ujjwal, so if we could go in later on. So, what are you now? Like, what is your aim now? What is Ujjwal doing at this current moment? You're going along with college, right? So, along with college, how are you managing your other things, your security and your startup? How are you going about that?
You need to multitask. You need to multitask to survive. We cannot get away with the reason that college takes up our time and stuff. That's something which we can't uh, we need to somehow manage time. You need to do something about college. Okay, this one mantra is, if you have some work and you can do it within 5 minutes, just do it right now. Like, a lot of times we think, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it in the evening and stuff. So a lot of small things which comes up, which piles up to put a lot of stress in your mind, just solve it at that point of time, and you can move on.
All right. Great. That is
Yeah.
some good piece of advice in the end. So I guess there aren't any much questions. I guess we did go over a lot of things and that cleared out a lot of things. It will be really great to have
Yeah.
another conversation with you as well. Maybe some workshops later on where you can go over certain concepts of security or open source or entrepreneurship. That would be really great. This has been such a pleasure to have hosted you on this podcast, and this has been such an amazing experience altogether. So thank you so much for being such a good part of this, for being such an
And
amazing speaker here.
yeah, thank you for having me in PEC, Nishant. Like, PEC, SEM, you guys rock. And thanks, Nishant. You have been doing really well. I hope you keep helping community in the same way you are. Uh,
Definitely, man.
I think,
Definitely. On your
yeah,
guidance, I'll definitely do this. And a lot of people will definitely go along this path. You have given such an inspiring session to every single one of us. There was something for everyone watching this. And I guess later on, when people also see this later on, this would help them a lot. Like they'll also learn a lot of about what you said. So thank you so much for this
hopefully.
session. And
Yeah.
that is it, guys.
Thank you, Nishant. Yeah.
That was the second episode of Talking Tech with Peck ACM. Thank you so much for being a part of this. If you like this live stream, hit the like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with more of our content, which we'll start updating really soon, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day ahead. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.